Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Business Plugs Mixer. Hi, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the Business Plug. And I come on tonight. I was supposed to have a guest, but when that doesn't work out, what do? The show must go on. So therefore, I'm going to use this time. I'm changing channels. I'm going to use this time to talk to you about preparing for 2025. And so I have some suggestions and pointers for getting your small business ready for 2025. If you, wherever you're watching this, if you look in the discussion, it has 5 steps. But in addition to those 5 things you can do, we're going to talk about 5 other things you can do. So let's talk about preparing for 2025. How must you, as a small business, prepare for a year of uncertainties, right? And so every year brings its own flavor, brings its own current. And so it behooves our small business owners to start thinking now. Like, don't wait until January and think, okay, I'll start a planning session in January. This is your sound. This is your ringing the alarm to say, no, 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 no. In December, I want you to start thinking about these things that we're going to discuss this evening and getting your business ready for 2025. We want you to end the year strong and then start the year even stronger than before. And so what does that look like? Well, one of the things you can do is, what about your business plan? Like, when I go and talk to businesses, and I always ask, how many of you have a business plan? And a few, kind of shy people will raise their hands. And I'll say, okay, so when was the last time you looked at it? Because most people will get their business plan written and then they set it in a shelf or in storage or somewhere. It's somewhere. And then I ask them, the third question is, so tell me, do you know exactly what is in it today? And does what's in your business plan look like the way you're operating your business? And I can tell you about 90% of them are like, no, no, because they haven't reviewed that business plan since it was produced. And so they're not actually using it correctly because they thought it was just something to get them started, right? Something to help them think about their plan. But a business plan is a live document. And so it's a living document. And so it should be looking like, however you're doing business, should not just be in a business plan, it should actually be in your practices. So go back and pull out that business plan that you had written or that you wrote yourself and make sure what it says is exactly how you're operating your business. And if it's not, that's not a bad thing. Go ahead and update your business plan and start thinking about upcoming trends and think about potential challenges that you're going to face in the industry this year. Now is the time to start thinking about your strengths and weaknesses, right? We talk about SWOT analysis all the time. And so in SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, now's the time to start looking at what those are and to start planning. How can I mitigate the impact of my weaknesses? And how can I strengthen my strengths, right? To make sure that I'm operating in those and that I'm hiring for my weaknesses. Weaknesses aren't a bad thing in business. It's actually a reality. Like, you have strengths, you have things you're great at, you have things that you're not great at. And so coming together and recognizing what those things are and making sure that they're noted in your business plan is going to help you be successful in 2022. Also, have you looked at automation? Have you looked at any technology? Are you using AI? Are you using data analytics? Like, these are the tools that will help you to streamline your operations. So when you're talking about looking at technology, anything that you're doing repetitively, like you're doing it over and over and over and over again, those things need to be automated. They can probably be done a quicker way without you. And so I try to teach and instruct business owners to get you out of the process, because when you're doing all the manual processes, then your business is limited to your potential. And if you have a very busy schedule like I had last week, you don't have time. You really don't have time to do all those manual processes. So it's good to know that you have automation in place so that your customers are able to do business with you seamlessly. So how can you interact technology? How can you leverage technology and automation in your business in 2022? By looking at those processes. One of the things that I use when I'm talking about uh, or helping business owners to see about what do they really need in their business, I have them do what's called a time study. And what a time study looks like, it is actually for 30 days, and we can do one in December, right? For 30 days, I have my business owners when they're working fully in their business every hour to stop and say, okay, these are the things I did. Because a lot of times when you are the chief bottle washer, the cook, the everything, you do things automatically that you don't even think that you're doing. Like you just do them without even thinking. But when you're trying to look into automation or adding a person or process into your business, it behooves you to learn what is it that your business is doing and how can this person or this software help you by speeding up that process. So slowing it down, doing time studies every hour that you're working in your business, and then understanding what processes and procedures you already have in place. That's good when you're trying to do SOPs. All businesses need them. So when you're trying to write your SOPs, when you're trying to bring in automation, when you're trying to add to your team, like understanding what your business needs are based on how you operate your business will help you in 2025. So if we can get those time studies done in December, right? Those 30 days of December, if we get those time studies written in December, then we'll be ready for 2025 in order to add automation or team members or whatever that looks like for you. Definitely will be able to add your standard procedures, right? So yeah, your SOPs. Also, look into strengthening your cybersecurity. Like I got hacked in September. Oh my goodness. That was terrible. That was terrible. And it wasn't even I got hacked. One of my partners got hacked. And because he got hacked and had access to my business page on Facebook, they took over my Facebook page because he had administration rights, right? So how can I reduce the impact? How can we reduce the impact of somebody hacking us? Like, what does that look like? And how can we rethink based on what we just experienced? It has taken from September the 6th when it happened until just last week for me to get all the assets back. Like it had all of my ads going to the Philippines. They locked down my account. I couldn't run ads. Like it was terrible. So how can I prevent that from happening again? And so if you can strengthen your cybersecurity and and protect against threatening digital threats, like they're out there. And so how can I make that better? They didn't get inside as far as my customer data and all that. Like that wasn't what they were looking for. They ran ads to the Philippines and got like 3,600 people to look at this bogus ad they put on my page. Like it was terrible. Shout out to Facebook for shutting it down. I went in because I couldn't get them to respond. Because if you've ever tried to touch Facebook, you know what I'm talking about. But I went in and I actually deleted because they had reduced my access, right? First thing they did, they went in, they reduced my access, they locked him out. And so by them reducing my access, I had to go in and I pulled out my credit card information. I pulled that out. Once I pulled out, there was no way to pay for this ad that was running out there. Then Facebook was like, oh no, wait a minute, you don't have any way to pay for this. And by that time, it was like $136 that was accumulated by them running that ad. But me pulling my payment method out was a smart thing to do because it stopped everything. Facebook went in and shut everything down, the whole account. And that was better than things, nightmare-ish. So if you can help protect your business from a cyber security attack, do that. Do that. And then the second thing, so let's talk about funding and certification opportunities. So when you're trying to get money, like if you're a business, if you're planning to expand, to grow your business, to scale your business in 2025, do you have all the certifications and have you positioned your business to be funding worthy? Like a lot of people say, well, oh, what grants are out there? Oh, how much money this or that? But you want to make sure that your business is attractive so that it will attract funding, right? I've had a great opportunity to shout out to our Village United who had their graduation this week. And I was able on Thursday to join them. And those business owners got, almost approximately $20,000 in grant funding. Like there were $2,100 grants, there were $3,000 grants, there was a $7,000 winner and a $3,000 winner. Like all these people that were getting grant money had did the work, because a part of what our Village United does is they prepare them and teach them all about the infrastructure they need in order to be grant worthy, in order to be funding worthy. So what does that look like? Invest in that. Like make sure that you're doing the research for grant programs, for small business loans, for certifications locally, statewide, federal, and those different levels in order to boost your growth and your credibility. What you want to be seen as is a viable business, a structured business out here, because it's everybody's going after the same money, right? And so I was talking to my class last night. I have a new class. Shout out to the Urban League of Greater Chattanooga. We started last night. We started a cohort, and I was telling the participants about, what does that look like? Like you want to make sure that your business is funding worthy. You want to make sure that your business has done all those different things it takes to look like a business and not a hustle. Right. I told him about, it used to be this guy that was on the commercial, and he looked like the Riddler. He had all these question marks all over his suit. And he was, I got it. And he'd be running around saying, he got the information that people need to get in order to get the government to help them to start their businesses. And so we talked about what that looks like. Like, yeah, there are seed grants out there, but everybody's going after those same seed grants. And what does that look like for you and your business in 2025? Like being very aware that you position your business in a place where it looks fundable, where it's not only looks fundable, but by practice too, your business is fundable. So in 2025, how can you as a business owner position your business and make sure that your infrastructure is strong enough for you to become fundable? Okay. That's one of the things you could look at. That's the third thing. The other thing, the fourth thing about enhanced customer engagement strategies. So think about your business. How can you get your customers more engaged? Like we talk about the Blockbuster and Netflix fiasco, right? Where Blockbusters was on every other corner, everywhere you went. They were very focused on Be Kind, Rewind, right? That everybody that rented Blockbuster movies, Be Kind, Rewind. They were very focused on making sure you rewind the video, the VHS tapes that you rented over the weekend or whatever. But they had customer data. Like you had to fill out an application in order to get a Blockbuster card. And so they had customer data, but they weren't using it. Netflix was ready to use it and asked them, what about this? What about we start, instead of just blockbusters, what about if we introduce them to all the different movies that are available? And Blockbuster was like, no, we good over here. We only do blockbusters. This is our name. This is how we run business. We're going to do business like we've always done business, And so Netflix was like, okay, well, you do that over there. I'm going to do all the movies that aren't blockbusters. And I'm going to take what they order and send them back other suggestions. And by doing that, 80% of the suggestions their customers used. They had 50, I think it was 54, and I could be wrong, but it was 50 something stations throughout the United States. Whereas Blockbusters had, there are some cities that had Blockbusters across the street from each other, like a lot of investment in brick and mortar. And Netflix won that battle because they not only took customer data, but they actually took that data and used it back to educate their customers. And if you like this genre, what about these 8? Or what about these 10? Have you saw this one? Like they were actually engaging with the customers, and they were using AI way back then, right? They were using AI to help them to understand what the customers wanted and how to actually take that and it back to them so that they can get more move. They was creating customer journeys. Blockbusters didn't take long, right? They kept fighting. They struggled, they fight. And even Walmart jumped into the fray and said, yeah, we'll rent movies. And then when they saw it was just the barrier to entry became so high that you know, you had Redbox, you had a lot of different places that were jumping into the fray of lending CDs or renting CDs in that whole industry. And Netflix came out as the winner. Like what they did worked. So you want to follow practices that work. You want to collect and analyze your clients' feedback. What are they saying about your products or services? And have you asked them their suggestions? What are you looking for in 2025? How can we serve you better? Having customer engagement is going to help you to build your business in 2025. Also, develop personalized marketing campaigns to foster loyalty and retention. How can you take the data, the information you already have, and actually start pushing information back out to your clients, letting them know that you appreciate their business and you've been paying attention to them? When is their anniversary? What's their birthday? Like, what demographics or information, geographic, psychographic, or demographic information can you use in order to push information back out to them? Segmenting your customers. Don't have them all in one barrel. Like, know something about them intimately, and then ask them questions. Send them a survey and say, hey, I would love your opinion in 2025. I want to serve you better. What do you think I should do? And then gather that information, listen to what they're saying, and actually increase engagement. So enhancing your engagement strategies is going to work well for you. Also, so now that we're thinking about all that, we need to build. So the fifth thing is focus on a sustainability plan and a resilience plan. One of my students just told me today she's getting ready to do a pivot. Shout out to you. I understand that. She was like, and you know, I didn't know anything about end of life strategy and business life strategy until I was in your class. And so she was telling me, she said, because of what I've learned, I'm actually going to implement it, and I'm changing my business design in the coming year. I'm so proud of her to see people. You have no idea when you are a coach and you give information and people actually use it and it works for them. Like, you know, it works as a business principle. You know, it'll work if they do the work, right? But when you actually see it in real time and students come and say, well, yeah, because you told me X, I'm able to do Y. That is the biggest fulfillment as a business a strategist, helping businesses apply the information that we give them. So just like these four things that I've given you thus far, and the fifth one being sustainable and resilient, how can you incorporate eco-friendly practices to meet your consumer demands and save costs? Like looking at how you do business and making sure you're streamlining and that you're doing what needs to be done at the lowest cost possible without actually sacrificing the quality of what you do. How can you put a plan in place to make sure that you are implementing these strategies that are eco-friendly? Okay. And then build a contingency plan. So a lot of businesses don't have, if this happened, what do I do? Like my friend who I met today that talked about pivoting. That is remarkable. Like, do you have a plan that if this doesn't work, what do I do next? Like, I always go for that with that scenario. I always go to Starbucks, right? Started out with coffee beans and then went to coffee houses. Like, they pivoted. And it wasn't that they had to have the best coffee, right? Because I'm not a coffee connoisseur, but the people who are tell me, no, the coffee is not the thing, Linda. With that, it's the cup. The cup is a status symbol. So I believe them because they're more about the taste of coffee than I do. Coffee just tastes like coffee to me. And I don't drink a lot of it. So I'm not educated enough to say, well, yeah, they have the best coffee or the worst. I'm not educated enough to do that. What I've heard from other business owners about coffee, they tell me that McDonald's has a good coffee. I don't know. I have no idea. To me, it all tastes the same. Again, I'm not a connoisseur, so I rely on those people who are, and they tell me that it's all about building a contingency plan. It's all about what if there are economic uncertainties or you have a supply disruption, right? What does that look like? Stopping now in December and thinking, okay, if you're getting, especially if you're getting parts and supplies from foreign dealers, what does that look like? Like, have you identified someone in the United States that can provide that for you? Because you know they're getting ready to be tariffs and things. So have you really looked at what that impact will have on you and your business? Now's the time to do that. Now's the time to research that out and to build a contingency strategy, a contingency plan that's going to help you if there's any economic uncertainties or any supply chain disruptions. Those are the things that you can do in order to get your business ready for 2025. I've also, wherever you're watching this, I've put other things, right, about like digital transformation. What does that look like? I put that out there and did you some action and then gave you some whys. And then again, strengthening your cyber measures and also your sustainability and social responsibility. What does those things look like? And then optimizing your digital marketing strategies. Do you have digital marketing strategies? If you don't, you should. And then also investing in your employee development. If you have a team, what about investing in your employee development and well-being? All of those things I've left, those five I've actually left wherever you're watching this. But in addition to the ones that I gave you verbally, I've also put some others there. My goal is to help you get ready for 2025 because I want you to win. And so by implementing these strategies, by implementing these strategies and plans into your 2025 in the month of December, like these are things to be thinking about and working on so that when we get to the new year, that you're ready, that you have mitigated any negative impact and you have improved the chances, your chances of being successful in 2025. So my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plan. They call me the business plug. And I come to help you to build strategies that's going to make your 2025 a great year. That's the whole goal. I'm here on the Business Plugs Mixer on Sundays from 7 o'clock Eastern Time to help you to find business strategies and have business conversations with business people for business people. My goal is to introduce to you different businesses, different opportunities, and also to give you strategies. I'm the chief business strategist for LSMB. And so therefore, I want to give you strategies that you can implement. Tonight, we talked about the things that you can do in 2025, right? Now I'll review them. Review and update your business plan. Leverage your technology advancements. Number 3, explore funding and certification opportunities. Number 4, enhance your customer engagement strategies. And number 5, focus on sustainability and resilience. Like if you do just those 5 things, you're going to be ahead of the game. And if you do the other 5 that I've put wherever you're watching this video, that's going to make you win in 2025. So until next week, I just want to tell you, have a great week. Put these strategies in place. Information without implementation is nothing. So I'll see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Business Plugs Mixer. Thanks for joining me. Have a good week.